Okay, cool. Anyways, welcome once again to this thing that I call what I do. Uh, anyway, let me because I'm also planning on doing uh okay, yeah, I'm also planning on actually shooting some footage to upload like an edited version later on. But yeah, I spent a good bit of today, down at Lowe's picking up stuff that I needed to start the next part of the build, and it was actually kind of interesting because I I sit there and got to I got to the oh, okay, that's one of okay at the bottom of my screen. I can see a couple things. I was like, if I had a different shirt on for a second. Anyway, uh, yeah, I got down to Lowe's and went to where they have all the plywood because I'm like, okay, I know I need the plywood, and then I couldn't think of what else I needed, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start and build this, just in my head, one step at a time, and got everything. I actually was able to go in there from a cold dead start, not having a parts list. I actually got everything in like 45 minutes, so it was actually not bad. And about 20 minutes of that was me just kind of wandering around looking for stuff on my own first before I finally decided I was just ask somebody who worked there to help me get the stuff. But anyway, uh, I get to Lowe's, and the guy's like, I finally find somebody, and the guy's like, well, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, hi, I do costuming and props, and he's kind of got this like, okay, what are you doing here? Look on his face. I was like, and I'm like, well, I'm doing a Hulkbuster armor, and I need to build the frame. I need to build a frame, and I need I need to find good plywood for that. And he's like, oh, and then and basically gave him a few other bits of explanation about what I was doing. And he's, so I told him, okay, I want to try to build it this way, and so on and so forth. And so he was like, oh, okay, cool. And so he ended up actually helping me find, uh, yeah, this is actually OSB, which normally I wouldn't use, but this is actually like really good. It's actually got a lot of tensile strength and all to it. So, uh, you know, like, uh, and OSB is instead of being normal plywood, it's actually you can see it's glued together and compressed wood chips, which actually does give it a bit. This actually has a little bit better strength in certain respects than regular plywood because it's not oriented one way. It's actually oriented multiple ways, which gives it a lot of strength in multiple directions. So, so I'm going to be actually using this to build the frame, and so I'm going to be playing. I have the basic ideas of what it is that I'm going to be doing. I'm actually using a lot of the stuff that James Bruton did. Uh, you can actually find his Hulkbuster build on his website. It's xrobots.co.uk, I think it is. Um, Either way, you can Google James Bruton, Bruton, Hulkbuster, and you'll find his website. And so I'm actually using a lot of the concepts that he put together, and I definitely need to learn to center myself and everything better. But anyway, so here we have. Yeah, I'm going to be using a lot of the concepts from his internal frame because it was actually a very good setup. But here, put this, and here we have the legs. Uh, and so, what I need to do is because I was able to get a very good like full body model. Uh, the problem, besides sitting uncomfortably on the handle of a handsaw, is that the way this was done, the entire body was in one piece. So what I've got to do is I need to separate at. Uh, I was originally going to separate out for the feet and the shins, separately, but I realized that because of how short this is actually going to be, a lot of people end up going for like the okay, good. Yeah, a lot of people end up going for like 9 foot tall, which is like your standard. I'm actually going with 6.5 feet tall because I have to take into account the elevators at the hotel that Dragon Con's held at. Well, there's 5 hotels actually, but because I'm actually going to be like going up and down between like my room and for the out into the main convention area. And then there's the fact that I'm actually going to be walking. I'm actually going to be going in the parade, and I'm going to be, while I'm out and about, I'm also going to be doing stuff like going from from the Hyatt over to the Marriott, maybe over to the Hilton. I don't know. I'm going to try to take this around to like the Westin or whatever else. I mean, I may end up doing that, but for me to get to and from specific hotels, I really have to take a specific path because if I end up going my usual path, like when I'm out running around and I decide that I want to bypass the crowds in the hotels, I usually cut a block over and then up to the main street and then which is Peachtree Street, and then I cut back over to the Hyatt if I'm over at like the Hilton or the Marriott and I decide I want to just bypass the crowds that's all in between that. The problem with that is that's an uphill slope, getting back to the Hyatt, or downhill slope if I'm just using it to get to the other way. And trying to do this on like uphill and downhill slopes may or may not be a good idea, especially because I'm actually going to be keeping the foot all the way up to the knee as a single piece because of the fact that I don't really need to worry too much about like the ankle flexibility and everything because of how short this is. Later on, I am looking at upgrading and actually making the ankle move and everything else. A lot of what I'm doing right now is mostly just because of the time pressure. I'm actually for uh, basically I'm pretty much doing what amounts to a speed build with this particular armor. So. Uh, So yeah, I mean it's like so I'm going to actually be having to separate it at the knee, and I know where I'm going to be doing that, and then I have to actually remove an entire section back here because that's where normally you have like the flexible stuff. Like some people actually use like dryer hose because you can fit it over your elbow or your knee depending on what gauge you get. And so what they'll do is they'll actually get a section of dryer hose that will fit in there. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with the back of the knee or with the elbow section because that's going to be coming up right now. I haven't even started the upper body yet, but I have gotten all the way up to the thing. Like everything from this point up is actually torso. Like I did actually separate out that while doing it. Except for like there's like a piece back here that actually is still still the cod piece that it's just like basically like one small piece that attaches there. It wasn't worth it for me to go through and find every individual tiny like this piece here. Yeah, I think it's like just right here and like right here. Yeah, maybe like back here. There's probably one or two pieces like are in the very back that I probably could have included in the cod piece. But the way that I do this to simplify stuff is I built all the way up to here, so that way now I can separate out the knee. I can separate I can separate the boot, and I can separate the thigh piece from the cod piece. So that way, once I get that, I'll be able to take this piece back into my work area and start attaching the abdomen pieces to it. And then with that, because of how just massive that is, I will actually be like, I've actually started leaving my hot glue gun out here. So that way, when I actually get to a certain point with the abdomen piece where I just can't do it at my desk anymore, just because of the sheer size of it, then I'll be bringing it out here and actually starting to work on it that way. Uh, Okay, cool. Yeah, I try to keep my live videos under 15 minutes. So, and I also need to do a update on Facebook. So, like I said, you can also find me on my Facebook page, which is the Imperial Nerf Herder, just like this. And you can also track my progress on my blog at imperialnerfherder.com. So, and by the way, yes, like everybody, I do have a donation link down at the bottom because, pretty much anything. I mean, you can also, if you have extra Arduino, like Arduinos, I prefer the Pro Trinkets for a lot of things just because of the size factor, and for what I'm doing, the Pro Trinket gets the job done. But I mean, like full size Arduinos and Arduino Unos. I mean, for like, I do have a lot of projects that those will fit into. Also, if like heavy servos, I could always use. Uh, wire or whatever else. I am going to be setting up like a PO box or something like that so that people can send me, letters, pictures, donations, parts, components, and things like that as well, or whatever. Um, Also, like there is a contact link on the website as well, or you can on my Facebook. If there's stuff that you want to see me build, because I do have a couple of open slots for like how far ahead I plan on stuff. Right now, I've got my Deadpool, my Darth Vader, and my Tron Legacy costumes also due. So I'm going to be trying to space out what I'm doing in my build schedule and all. So you'll be seeing a mix of that stuff. But right now, my priority is everything I need to do for Dragon Con. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short because I also do need to do an update, on my Facebook page itself. So, in any event, like I'm glad you guys are sticking with this. And just because I like to show this off, and as an explanation, I will actually be getting into the wood glue method for hardening, and this actually is something I did with wood glue, and actually I think it's just the one layer of fiberglass, and I mean it. If there's a little bit of flex to it, but yeah, if you're looking to do hardening, like believe me, there are people who sit there and say, well, that doesn't work well and everything. I'm here to tell you, the wood glue method actually does work. So, anyway, thank you for keeping watching, and like I said, I'm going to do a quick update on my Facebook page, and then I'm actually going to be just doing a lot of, some recording, footage for and actually put together like a decent, video for all of this. So, anyway, thank you.